Hello. So I was at work today, and for some reason, I wanted to use the Enchanted Map Oracle cards. And I know that these are the Dreams of Gaia, but then I wanted to use it with the Dreams of Gaia. Actually, where am I phone? I am going to do that, but last Wednesday was the gift that gave so much, even though it happened so contentiously. Because so last Wednesday, I was like, I don't understand, and maybe this is nice for life in general for me at the very least. Last Wednesday, we had a lot of stuff to do. Things came up unexpectedly, and something needed to be done. And I talked about it last time I was live. Something needed to be done, and so I got like trained on it, but there was so much that needed to be done. I was like, I don't understand why I need to train today. Like, why can't we just knock this out so I could, hey, Holly, how are you doing? I was like, why can't, like, we just knock this out today and then I can train in the future? Like, why do I have to train today? And somebody was like, but, like, you have to train today. You have to train today. And eventually I gave in. Like, if you see that, oh, it's on my bed. So if it wobbles, that's why. Oh, such interesting cards. Oh, this is 17 and 18 too. Um, Eva, hey, how are you? Glad to hear it, Holly. She was like, "We're training today. We're training today." I'm like, "There's so much stuff to do today. I don't understand why we're training today. Like, why can't we just do this so I can get on with my day? You can get on with your day, and neither one of us is here until like 10 o'clock." And so I did the training. And so yesterday I was talking about I'm glad that last Wednesday happened because I was able to be like fine under pressure or whatever. Today I'm glad last Wednesday happened because I actually had to go out. Glad to hear it. You. I actually had to go out and do the stuff that I got trained on last week. I thought that there would have been more opportunities. I thought that this week I would have been trained on it, but this week I had to perform. So I guess that's another note question mark for me to because I'm always like, I feel like I'm always like I handle stuff as it comes up, and I do for the most part. But I guess somebody somewhere knew that today was going to happen today. And I'm glad that after much talking and convincing, I was finally flexible enough to just do the training last week because today happened. Went to eat with your son. I had a mint mojito at Red Lobster and it was so good. And I tried one since maybe only one since. It wasn't as good as the first time. But I do want to see where these planets are. Because I know that eclipse is going to be happening soon ish. Oh wow! Oh wow! Let me check the summary. So new moon is at 1:44 a.m. Central. So that's in 1:13, 5 hours, 5.5 hours. You haven't had one in over a decade. I've only had two in the past decade. Excuse me. Is it raining now? Maybe not. No, it shouldn't be. So I want to look at these transits. Last Wednesday was honestly rough. Well, at work it was rough. Well, it wasn't rough for too long. It was only rough from like 8 to 10:30. Well, from 8 to 10:30, and then resolution happened. 10:30 to 11. And then I was fine after that. Oops. But I just want to see where everything is right now. Oh, so the moon is now in Sagittarius with Mercury and the sun. Before, the moon was in Leo when it happened. The moon was in Leo, trining the sun and Mercury in Sagittarius. Now it's conjuncting it. I don't know. I was gonna say, is there a grand fire trine in the sky? It's only 8:26. It feels so much later. I can barely read my. You drink often, but not a lot, and not liquor. I like my glass of wine in the evening. Yeah, I feel like I should know that. Excuse me. Oh gosh. What? So the six of air came out with journey and thought. First, like if you can even see them, the six of air and journey is such an interesting combination of cards to get. I'll hold them up to the light because we got that dark light thing going on, and then journey, our thought came out after journey. So there is kind of, it's almost like turning from darker thinking to lighter thinking. I don't know, Eve. I wanted to pull the Enchanted Map Oracle cards for some reason. I was at work today and I thought about them. I was like, I'll pull them when I get home. And then I was like, I haven't. And then I wanted to pull the Dreams of Gaia too. So I was going to pick these cards up if I can figure out my camera. I was going to pick these cards up, and as I was doing it, these two, because I have another card on my bed. These two, so I'll try to replicate how it happened. It's these, right? No, these two. Okay, so they did this. They popped up, turned in reverse, and then sat right on top of the card on the other side, which is thought. 0. I was like, oh wait, they're upright. They like came out because it's 3 of them. I don't know. They just like went up, flipped over, and landed right on top of thought. Now, between the two of these, I guess the more humanoid face, more humanoid. They're both equally humanoid, dull. But it's like these two faces are looking in opposite directions. The one without tears, I guess. So that's interesting. Because it's an energy. It's like the thought is happening, but the choice isn't. And there is like an Ace of Swords, Ace of Wands energy here. I mean, it's earth because of the tree, and there's water that comes out of the eye holes. Hmm. I don't know. Let's see. I also noticed. So I've allowed life to tell me what's, I guess, being asked of me. Asked. And I feel like I'm becoming. Oh my gosh. Oh, this is interesting. Maybe I'll just keep holding these. The Father. What? At the bottom of the deck. I feel like I'm becoming more sensitive to other people, and I don't. I don't necessarily like it. And it's like it's one person in particular. And when I was younger, it still happens sometimes. Um, excuse me. Wait, what? I'm sitting like in a corner, Eve, if that makes sense. I don't know if you can see the corner. Like this is a corner. If that helps. Melt and stepping snow. What? Oh, this is interesting. Did I actually say the apple of Dune? Or was I just thinking the apple of Dune in that thought card? What's also interesting was that in that thought card, the two faces were looking in three different directions. The two faces were looking in three different directions. The two faces were looking in opposite directions, and there were three portals. But here, with the Seven of Earth, there's only one. And the snake was actually holding the Ace of Wands in that card. And here, the snake, the tail of the snake, it's like coming out of the solar plexus. And then after that, we have the self. This is so weird. You know how we usually connect to nature and we tap in and tune in? This low key almost feels like nature tuning into us, or tapping into us, tapping into nature, or maybe as we like tap and tune in to the world around us, we actually like synchronize with it in a way where it's like we're tuning into it, it's tuning into us. And then there's the Eight of Fire, which is, I mean, it's all of this. It's all of this. And I feel like this card came out as like the self and the higher self meeting or something like that, where they're merged. And then after that, it's the card of abundance. I don't know what that's about. And the father is at the. I don't know. I wanted to use the Enchanted Map Oracle cards, and I haven't even picked them up. Really. Excuse me. But yeah, I feel like I'm becoming more sensitive, especially to one person in particular. And when I was younger, I would sometimes have dreams about people in like certain emotional states where they just be like crying. And I'm like, this is so awkward. And then I would see them in real life. And it's like there's something, but it's not dreams, it's just like feelings. And I'm like, oh my gosh, it's annoying. I'm like, oh, because I don't want to cry at work. But after the last live or the one before that, I guess I've resigned myself to being. You bought a holly wreath for your front door today. A rune wreath? What? For his front door? Oh, so your son is older? Or like for his door in the house? I should get a wreath for my door in the house. And yesterday, I don't know. I've reached this point, and I've talked about reaching this point before. I actually talked about what the day before yesterday. I was like, since I was I'm a biological engineer by degree, microbiologist by occupation currently. Um, and it's like learning about life and blah, 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 whatever. And then it's like where I'm working, I'm the microbiologist. I'm the person who took like the microbiology classes, the bioengineering classes, and stuff like that. So I'm kind of sort of the person who has, I mean, we all have a certain amount of knowledge, but there's things that I've been educated on that other people weren't. And yesterday, I don't know, like like I mentioned it before, like it's been slowly building up. But yesterday, it was just that moment of like I took these classes. I know these things. There are explanations to what's happening that I could offer. So why don't I? And I actually like I went and I said something and I had a conversation and like we had this whole thing and I feel like sometimes we offer a lot more than we might think we do. Um in ways that we don't even necessarily know. And depending on how we carry it forward or how we embody it, or it's not necessarily embodying it, it's more like using it, utilizing it, it can cause things to shift. And I think that's one reason why my sensitivities are being pulled on so hard right now. And I'm just like, oh, no, I don't want to be sensitive to other people. Please, no, don't do this to me. And like, it was fine when it wasn't. Well, I guess maybe it wasn't fine when it was in dreams. Oh, here we go. Who was this? Oh. Oh. This deck is in reverse. Oh, gotcha. Only like what in the dream? In the dream, it's like I'll encounter the person. In real life, I'm just like feeling all these feelings, and I'm like, oh. And it's a lot of kind of sort of like sadness. It's really heavy. And it feels like um it feels alone. It feels like people just like leaving. It's like, you think like you're getting on with somebody, you think that everything's cool, you think everything's fine, and then all of a sudden one day, like, they're avoiding you or they're not talking to you or things are just different and you don't really know why. And I'm just like, oh. So I try to be nicer and I try to patience. And it did take me, because I would feel it before, but then I blew up. And because I blew up, there was an exchange of humanity in the resolution of the blowing up. Um, and I have noticed a lot of things sort of changing and happening. I'm just like, oh goodness, it's fine. Um, so the Dragon's Lair card came out, and the bottom of the deck was education in reverse, which is interesting because of what I was just talking about. I think it's not all. Maybe the Dragon's Lair is a place to put like your education to the test. And maybe it's an opportunity to turn it into wisdom. Yeah, I'm just like, I don't know if the sensitivity will subside though for me, because it was something that I more or less turned off for a while because of the distance I put myself between me and like 99.999% of the people that I met, and that 0.0001% of the people who I didn't put distance between, there was still distance there. Um, I want to make connections to people and experience a lot of things, and so the sensitivity will come, because I mean that's who I was before. So it's just kind of that online, but it's fine. Dragon's Lair upright. The Dragon's Lair card was interesting because of the dragon in the Abundance card that came out at the end of that. I want to know. My little brother is about to drop a baby. The Seven of Water came out on the side. I think education is in reverse because something unexpected is going to happen. And it feels like an option presenting itself. It feels like education, it's this energy where it's like things are going to happen in a certain way. And I think things are almost like transpiring in that way. But with it on its side, it's like this energy, this lady just like she makes this motion, she makes that motion, and then like there's like a current or something that opens up, and it's just like it was heading in this direction and then it just goes that way. What's this dragon's lair? Oh. Oh my gosh. It's dude energy. It's king of air. Okay. King of air is a very interesting energy right now. Very interesting energy. The king of air came out with the queen of cups. And these are the two energies right now. The queen of cups is like that passive perception, and the king of air, it's it's like an active interference. But I don't know if interference is the word, but um it's that energy where it's like the queen of cups is to know how something plays out, but to not do anything to change the course of events. Because if you engage in the situation, then the outcome becomes unknown. It's almost like we can't see necessarily the ramifications and repercussions and consequences of our own actions, but we can see the consequences of others to the point where the picture plays out if we don't interfere. And the king of air energy introduces a certain logic. The king of air knows how the world works. The king of air knows how people work. And in its shadow, king like this would be like manipulative, narcissistic, all of that. Because in its shadow, it would be an energy that says or does one thing in order to get other people to do what they want. But in this, like in its light, it's an energy that can help steer or redirect or open up new pathways, alleyways, passageways. It's like it can read its own movement, and it can feel how the world will respond to it in a way that the Queen of Cups, it's like, well, if I do this, then like everything becomes unclear. Everything is now a mystery. Only the High Priestess knows. Queen of Cups is like pre High Priestess. But maybe the King of Air is the others. I don't know if it. It feels like I'm tempted to say it's the other side of high priestess energy, but it doesn't, like, it feels like I don't know, I can't necessarily envision high priestess energy as doing anything. Whenever I think of high priestess energy, I think of like oracles of, Delphi or Delphi or whatever. People who give messages, soothsayers, fortune tellers, people like that. People who like deliver a message, but that don't personally sort of go and do anything. And I don't know if there is an energy that I can think of that acts and knows, that can see and steer at the same time. But they're both right here, the king of air and the queen of water. And then again, we have the card of choice. And this is interesting because the first time, the six of air and whatever was behind it. Hold up, let me think. It was the two cards, the six of air and the other one. It was some major. It was like the 17 and the 18. What's 17? Hold up, because this is going to bother me. Thought is 18. Journey. That's what it was. I couldn't remember Journey. The six of air and Journey were upright on top of thought, but they were in reverse on the choice. And I feel like it almost plays out again in this energy, where it's like to just think about it, it's known, it's seen. But to come into the space to actually move with choice, and it's almost like that unseeing sometimes is enough to stop us. There are certain things that we're not supposed to see. I feel like it's kind of sort of a good thing that we don't as easily, and maybe some people do, right? If you do, then don't, like, it doesn't apply to you. Um, but I think it's a good thing that we don't necessarily always know how our actions are going to play out in a certain situation, because then it allows life to be life. And after choice is wisdom. That's the apple. I was like, I don't know if that's Idun's apple. I don't know why it's feeling like Idun's apple, because of what Idun's apple is. Or the golden apples of the Hesperides that Heracles had to go and get. And then they were like, yeah, these apples can't leave the garden. So, and that was the labor that Hercules, um, he shouldered the burden of the world for. He went to Atlas because Atlas, I think the Hesperides were the daughters of Atlas, or Atlas had some kind of relation to somebody, and Hercules was like, "Can you go and like get the apples for me?" And Atlas was like, "Yeah, but you have to hold up the world while I go and do that." And Atlas was Atlas was like, okay, you can stay there. And Hercules was like, okay, I'll stay here, but can you hold the world real quick so I can like get in a comfortable position so I can tie my shoe so I can go to the bathroom? Can I go to the bathroom before I have to continue to bear the weight of the world for all eternity? And Atlas was like, yeah, okay. And then Hercules left. And Atlas was still carrying the world. And I guess it is interesting because instead of the world, we have a world tree energy with branches, like different pathways, different futures, different pasts, maybe different nows. And something about that, like shouldering the burdens of the world, is here. And that's why this is the choice card. Is this a panther? Is the hermit in this deck a panther? I'm looking at, I don't know if you'll be able to see it. You see that on the top of his head? Doesn't that look like a nose? Like, this is a nose. That's a nose. These are some ears. It looks like he's wearing like the skin, or at least the hood. If it's not a panther, it's some kind of animal, some kind of dark animal. It's like, wait. See, maybe that's that light shadow integration, feminine, masculine, logic and reason. That's been like popping up for a hot minute. It's like logic and reason, the head and the heart, not one or the other. It's time to use both, or to be able to use both. Um, but I think there are like there's always choices that we make. And if we're talking about bearing the shouldering the weight of the world, it's like hard choices and decisions. But it's like something has to be chosen. And we do what we think is best. And then when we do what we think is best, it is a question. It does beg the question, best for who or whom? Best for whom? And that's an interesting question. I am not gonna think it now. Because I almost want to pull around stankness. Because this is about the dragon's lair. So the dragon's lair, it feels like, hey, Melissa. Yeah, it's all about balance. Always. The dragon's lair feels like a testing ground. And it feels like the energy of stankness being sniffed out. Um, what's interesting, well, I guess it could be the light of the wisdom card. So I was going to say it's interesting that it doesn't seem that dark wherever this hermit figure is, and dude's still using the light. Like, is it necessary? But maybe that's all the light of the lantern. I think there's also an energy of sacrifice here. It's like we do what's logical, we do what makes sense, we do what we think is right at the cost of what it is that we truly desire. And it's like that's why we can be both sort of like, I can't think of a good word, but it's an energy of like proud. Like we can be proud of the decisions that we make. And it's like this necessary sacrifice energy. But then I guess it's a question of how long will you continue to sacrifice? And that's why I love, and it's the Seven of Cups. That's why I love this Seven of Water card, though. Because something about the Seven of Water card, it's like these are the choices that we've always had to make. but it's a different option. And this choice, this is why stalwart. That is a word I've read, so I know what it means via all the context I've ever heard it. But I've never, I don't know if I've ever even heard someone like say it in my life. But I read it. I don't think it's necessarily about patience though. I don't, I think it'll reach the point where it's not necessarily about patience. In the beginning, it might be. Um, but what's interesting, it's almost like this third option creates a rift in the world. And that's Flüsse to me. And this is why the king of air is important. That's the queen of water. This is why the king of air is important. Because this would be the Hierophant leaving the Hierophant. This would be the hermit energy leaving the area where it can like see all. It's going outside of the realm of the Queen of Cups' ability to perceive what's happening. So you really got to be comfortable with the unknown. And you got to be comfortable like thinking on your feet. And I feel like this is also a part of the reason why education is in reverse. It may be like maybe one of the reasons is like there are some things that you can't necessarily teach. There's some things that are hard to teach via book or um there are things that are hard to learn outside of experiencing them firsthand. It's like that. It feels like an experiential learning because something about the King of Air's ability to read reactions. It's almost like Queen of Water reads actions and King of Air reads reactions. King of Water sees the actions of others, the actions of the world, and cycles at large. But King of Air reading reactions, reading responses, it actually reads more of the intricacies, which is interesting because you think that the Queen of Water would be more subtle. But with the King of Air, it's all like logical. It all makes sense. All mostly cause and effect. Queen of Water may be um more the things that are like spontaneous or kind of sort of random. Well, so we have King of Air, which is logic, but it's like it's at detriment question mark. It's not big logic. It's like small logic. But it feels like that logic, that reasoning, it isn't something that you can, it feels like it's learned. It's very fluid. It feels like chemistry, and I guess by nature alchemy, or by similarity, it feels like alchemy. But it's learned through experimentation. So perfect time to have, North Node Gemini. So maybe it's turning chemistry into alchemy. But to turn chemistry into alchemy would be to involve the element of life. And that's something that I don't know if the King of Air can do. That's something, life happens in between the King of Air and the Queen of Water. Especially since we as humans live both like structured, logical, reasoning lives, analytical, ethical, moral life, well, analytical and ethical lives. And then we also live like emotional, relational, um, moral, relative lives simultaneously at the same time. And both make up life. I also think that would be a reason why this is in the lair of the dragon. It just makes sense. Oops. So I guess it's time to learn what can't be taught. I kind of want to read education. These cards keep sliding. This Virgo understands. I don't think it's mind versus spirit necessarily. I do want to get one more of these. Oh, I was going to read education. Do I have the book? I do. As a Pisces who was my own worst enemy for a long time, I also understand. They do give reverse. Oof, oof, oof. Life is filled with lessons. Be teachable is education. Stubbornness and the desire to know it all and be right no matter what will not get you what you want. Or could it be that you're afraid to be seen as someone who knows less than you're supposed to? Could you be flying through life by the seat of your pants, hoping no one will notice you're skimming the surface of things? Life is filled with lessons, some bitter, some sweet. A strident lust for certainty will never bring you the wisdom you seek. Pretending to know more than you do won't make you wise. Be assured that not knowing is a magical place to be. All manner of mysteries are revealed. Be open. It's okay to not know. And that's literally this wisdom card. What did it say? Pretending to know more than you do won't make you wise. Be assured that not knowing is a magical place to be. All manner of mysteries are revealed. Be open. It's okay to not know. I feel like that's why the dragon's lair feels right. Something about mysteries being revealed in the dragon's lair just like makes sense. I'm trying to see if like there's anywhere that this crack in the wisdom card could lead us to. And I mean, I guess there's like two places. There's the one here, if I can get my finger right, the one right here, and there's also the one up there. But it might be this one, potentially. It's like we got to step into this. Oh, I'm so confused. We got to step into this realm of all, realm of what is beyond. It's almost beyond human reasoning, but maybe it is. But it's the adaptive nature of man that puts him in a position of being able to learn. It feels like man is like earth. Because earth, for me, it's an energy where it's like even the things that aren't native to earth can find a place. It's like whenever you get an invasive species, but hopefully less invasive. You know what I mean? Less like out competing everything and taking over the natural environment and ecology. There we go, not economy. And I feel like people are the same way. Even for things that are so far outside of what we know, what we're comfortable with, If we nurture it, if we give it time, if we have a desire, we can get to know. We can learn. We can adapt. We can change. We can grow. We can evolve. Steph, I was just thinking about you. You made it to your destination. Glad to hear it. I hope you enjoy your destination a lot. I hope you find many a thing. Oh, wow. Yeah. I'm glad you made it safe too. I'm like hungry now. That's funny. It's not funny. It's interesting. I'm gonna put these back. Well, no, I'll just get a third one. So the Dragon's Lair, the card that came out, I looked at it. It flipped over. It's the eight of air. Well, mm, what's this card? What immediately popped in my head is it's a saying. It's basically ignorance is bliss, but it's not. It's like knowledge is suffering, or to know is to suffer, something like that. And it's like it's just this energy where it's for me personally, it's like very like eye roll. But it's almost like it's these things. The easiest way to put it is like it's matrixy. It's like codes built within the matrix to keep you from breaking out of the matrix. It's things that we're told in order to stay small. It's like it's a good thing that you don't have any more of whatever, because then you'd have this responsibility and that responsibility. It's like, okay, well, at least, it's like it's a good thing you don't make over this amount of money, because then you'd have to pay taxes instead of getting money back. And it's like, okay, well, I think, if my belly could be a little fuller, if I could experience a little bit more in life and be less, like, have less financial sort of like worries and stresses and problems, if I had to pay a little bit of money or even a lot of bit of money, like, I think I'd rather take that one. But it's like it's these things that we're told, or these things that we tell ourselves, that more or less sort of keep us where we are. Oh my gosh. Bottom of the deck is the Four of Earth. Speaking of the Matrix, lol, doesn't this dude look like digital? And then behind the Four of Earth is the Eight of Water. That's the Four of Air. That's the Four of Air. I said Earth. Four of Air, Eight of Water. Let's see if I can't do this. Maybe, maybe. Interesting. And nothing killed you. I'd love a life with no pain and just happy. What? No anxiety? That's growth. That's healing. That's something. I don't know, but I like it. I love it. Love it for you. Maybe it's an opportunity to really put yourself out there in a way. Experience all that you wish and desire. Going after everything you feared because you realize what you fear is what you don't know. Open-minded exploration is the only way you grow. Only accepting what reinforces what you already believe leads to stagnation. Yeah. I read that as South Node Sagittarius. Only accepting what you believe in it leading towards stagnation. And then the next North Node is in Taurus, so oof. Next South Node is in Scorpio too. South Node in Scorpio is gonna sextile Pluto and Capricorn. I'm pretty sure. It's gonna sextile Pluto and Capricorn before Pluto makes it into Aquarius. It's gonna have to. Because we only got like 18 months ish. Pluto moves into Aquarius for the first time. What? Oh, no, that's when it goes. Okay. Pluto moves into Aquarius in 2023. And the North Node is in. Oof, it might be Aries at that point. It's hard to see. Hold on. Can I? Whoa. What's that? Does that just flip it? I'm so confused. The North Node is still going to be in Taurus. Maybe. Wait, but it's late. Yeah, it's definitely going to sextile the. It's going to sextile the South Node in Scorpio. And it's going to trine the North Node in Taurus. It'll happen when it's happened. It'll happen when it happens. What? I love to hear it, Steph. I'm proud of you too. I feel like that's how we find out a lot about ourselves sometimes. It's when we have to do something. When we're given the opportunity. What's at the end of this? Are you gonna get to do anything enjoyable, Steph? Cleaning house is the card that came out. Oh, well, with education in reverse. That makes sense. I want to read the cleaning house card. I've seen it a few times. I don't think I've ever read it, though. It is time to clear the clutter to make way for better things. When you see the cleaning house card in a reading, it's time to declutter your life. Excuse me, get rid of unwanted things in your physical home and release what you. Okay, yeah, I'm over this. That didn't take long. Ow! Ow! Ouch! Why not? I just hit my knee on the in between tarot. So I'm gonna pull one of them. I think something flipped over. See, in between the Three of Wands and the Four of Wands. I don't know where the three wands are, though. It looks like the lady is holding two wands, the dude is holding two wands, and then there's four wands here. So I see like 8 wands altogether. See, this is very like masquerade ball type of energy. Both of these are 10s. The Dragon's Lair and Cleaning House. One of them with the 3, 7, 10 with Cleaning House, that's something that happens that gets you to see what needs to be cleaned out. So it's like an event, it's a person, whatever, that gets you to do something else. But it feels like that thing is what it is because 3 is catalytic. So it's like the thing itself doesn't change. But with the 1910, it feels like a 1910 has something missing. It's like you go from completing something. I know it's like the one, but it feels like it's already begun, like it's already started. Like a 1910 feels like, whoa, like when did this happen? Wait, all of a sudden we're doing something else. Like, what? Did I miss the memo? Was I not on the email chain? I hope you do find something. I hope you do find something very enjoyable. The chop wood card. Oof. Wait, which one reminds you of the chop wood card? This one? The bottom of the deck is between the Four of Cups and the Five of Cups. And then under the Four of Cups and the Five of Cups is Justice into the Hangman. It's interesting because the Three of Wands into the Four of Wands, it's like something new and exciting. But the Four of Cups into the Five of Cups, it's like the spark is dying. It's that point where it's like you're together because you're married, because you've been together for X amount of years, because you have a child. And it's like you, if your happiness or if your joy lies elsewhere, then maybe it's time to close some things and open up other things. And it just feels like a window of constant discontentment left open for the sake of whatever. What is this cleaning house? I think I'm like loving the dreams of Gaia today. So. Oh, well, cleaning someone else's clutter sometimes helps too. I think another difference between these cards, though, is that in the three of wands, between the three and four of wands, they're both heading in the same direction, and it's balanced. Like they both have two wands, they're both heading in the same direction, and in the between the four and the five of cups, it's just like they want different things, and it's like compromise isn't bad. Like we should be able to compromise for those that we love and care about, but this is just like stale, stagnant. I think Melissa, you said something about stagnancy. Cleaning house. I'm just gonna pick a card. Oh, this one, this one. Oh, I got two. The King of Water and the Counselor with the Ace of Fire at the bottom of the deck. For cleaning house, these energies are so similar. We got the 14 and the 12 of water. Oh, the one about cleaning up. Cleaning house reminds you of chopped wood. What's at the bottom of the deck? Oh, it's the Ace of. Okay. Because maybe like the Ace of Wands, Ace of Fire energy, it's about breathing new life, new vitality. It's about bringing something that isn't currently being offered that improves the situation or that changes the dynamic in some way. But it's like this is a rose by any other name. Like they're the same. It's the same energy. Which could be, I guess, interpreted in a way of like, maybe your house is already clean. And so when you declutter, you're exactly the same. Or it's an energy of like, see, it's like a low hanging fruit. It's like whenever we purge, whenever we declutter, whenever we go through those cycles, we go for the things that are easiest to do. It's like when people give up. If I was like, I'm gonna give up jogging for Lent, I'm gonna give up exercise, I'm gonna give up vegetables, I'm gonna give up things like I don't even do. Or if I was like, I'm gonna give up coffee for Lent. Like coffee I can give up. I don't rely on caffeine for anything. I enjoy an iced coffee, but I don't need iced coffee. It's this energy of like in cleaning up with these two cards, it's like we don't go for the thing that actually leads to change. It's purging what's easy, it's sacrificing what's easy, it's compromising on what's easy. And so it's like the mess more or less stays. And maybe like there's this one corner of our room that we clean and we keep clean. Meanwhile, the messes, the messes all around me, but you don't see any of it. And it's not that there aren't any changes at all, because there are, but more or less, it's the same. And maybe that's the 4 into the 5 of cups. It's like not really doing anything to work on that relationship. It's not doing anything meaningful. It's not doing anything substantial. I'm not going to say it's not meaningful. It can be very meaningful, but it doesn't seem very substantial because this energy, what's after the 4 into the 5 of cups? It feels like it's just gonna, it's like dying slowly. It's the Ace of Swords into the 2 of Swords. But it's rough in this deck. There's an energy here. It feels like it knows. It's like if I pull this sword, then I'm gonna, like, it's gonna cause something else to happen. It's an energy. This could be done out of, it could be done out of love. It's like, well, if I leave, if I go, like this person will be like, they'll be upset, they'll be distraught, they don't have anybody else, or it's like if I do this, then it's like if you have a job and you have seniority, but you don't like your job, and so you want a new job, and you're like, but if I leave, I'll lose my seniority. It's something like that. Bottom of the deck is the 3 of Cups into the 4 of Cups. See, this is an energy where it's like, I can make it work. Like, I can make it work. And maybe it is to make it work. I think sometimes things don't necessarily have to fall all the way apart. Sometimes all that's needed to make a situation better is communication. And maybe it's like if we continue to fear the worst, or if we continue to think of the worst case scenario, like it won't move anything forward. It'll just almost like continue to be. Because under that 3 into the 4 of Cups, there's the 2 into the 3 of Cups. And so it's like, since it's going in retrograde, it's bringing passion, it's bringing love, it's bringing romance, it's bringing joy, it's bringing everything back into the relationship with the 6 of Wands, like behind that. Some things are worth fighting for. And it's not always to walk away or to run away or to be quick to disconnect when things get difficult. Like, at least try. And I think sometimes it's like we're allowed to have reactions to things. We're allowed to feel things. It's like, we're allowed to be surprised. Other people are allowed to be surprised, and they're allowed to have reactions. But I don't know. Maybe it doesn't need to be thrown away. And it's almost an energy of like change will beget more change. Knight of Cups. Is here. The 12 of water is at. It's already on here. There is something about breathing new life into a situation. Maybe education in reverse is also it's not what you think. I can see that being it's not what you think. And even if it is what you think, it might turn out better than you'd expect. It's almost an energy of like underlying causes or something like that. Oof, that's why I didn't pick these up. That's the wrong deck. That's the wrong deck. Excuse me. Active and receptive. What they want. Mm. Mm-hmm. I think so. Death into Temperance just came out in reverse. And as I'm reading, the 2 in retrograde gives a chance to reevaluate and level up our choices. I feel like it goes back to the energy that was the 6 of Earth and the Self card. Where we meet the world. And it reminds me of, I think it's the Magician or the Magi and the Tarot Apocalypsis, where it says it's something about like the heavens descend and man rises, and where they meet, the universe is recreated, or something like that. Like there's a gentleness there. Yeah. Last I heard, she was going through a process. She said she was doing a lot better. Um, and I give her time, the space, whatever she needs. I've talked to her recently-ish, though. I know her birthday's coming up. If I didn't already miss it, I need to like I know she's told me. I'm like, is it the? I feel like somebody is born on the 13th, and then somebody else is born on the 17th. She might be the 17th because I feel like if she were the 13th, I would be like, yeah, that's definitely your birthday. Oh, let me put these cards back. Hello. I'm trying to put cards away, not just Okay. I'll put these away. Good night, Steph. Ooh, excuse me. I'm glad to hear again that you made it safely. May you experience things better than you would have ever imagined. And may you take you there. So you know you could do it again and again and again and again. And again and again. Oh, I'm seeing you today. I'm not even getting into that. Oh, okay. So 3 cards that we've already seen today: Journey, Abundance, and the 7. It was the 7 of Earth, not the 6 of Earth. Journey, Abundance, and the 7 of Earth. See, this is why I was like, oh, Dragon Slayer makes sense. But it's not a treasure that the dragon hoards. It's a treasure that the dragon shares. I feel like this goes back to balance. Wait, it is the 13th? Oh, okay. I was like, I feel like it's either the 13th or the 17th. But I was like, if it's the 13th, I feel like I would definitely know it. Because I'm like 12, 13. Because I know a 12 and a 12, 11. I think you're right. I think it is 12, 13. Then who's on the 17th? Whose birthday is December 17th? No, his birthday already passed. Hold up. One moment, please. No, not you. I don't know. There's this energy. Oh my gosh, dude, literally, I see the key. I literally looked through this entire deck looking for somebody with a key, didn't see a single key, and I saw this card. I was like, I know this guy has a key, but I couldn't see it when I was looking for it. I don't even remember why I went looking for it. Because the key did something, or the key signified something. And I was like, if I see it, I'll say it. But I didn't see it, so I didn't say it. But there's an energy here. It's like to fully know something, we have to experience or be open to experiencing more than one side. And there's this balance that there's a balance of life that we learn by living it. And it's like that's the balance that we have to honor as we go about creating our own lives. And I don't think it's necessarily about like if I want this much good stuff, then I'm going to have to suffer. But it may be like, suffering might happen. So don't do anything to like fully eliminate it, because then that automatically puts it outside of the realm of what is realistic and what is possible. And sometimes it's through suffering that something becomes better, that we become better, someone else becomes better, a dynamic becomes better, a relationship becomes better. Um, Doorways to understanding is open, and doorways to growth are opened. And it's like there's an energy of like we desire or we try to keep ourselves so safe that we miss out on the bounty of life. And it's like this nature person is like, look at me. Like, I'm about to be turned into a pile of ash, but you don't see me trying to, like, I'm not patting my shoulders. I'm letting it happen. I'm letting nature take its course. But I think this seven of air, Earth, the seven of Earth, is about to be reborn as the Queen of Fire. So it's like its life as an earth elemental, its life as a tree is over. Its life as a fire elemental or a cat is about to begin. And behind that is the ten of fire, with the sage under the ten of fire. And see, look, the seven of earth has a green snake, but the queen of fire's got rainbow snakes. Her snakes are all the colors. You see, there we go. You see all the colors and the rainbow snakes rather than just green. There's an energy of like, again, it's, I guess it's an energy of all that lies outside of our understanding, all that lies beyond our comprehension, cycles greater and grander than anything we'd be able to see. And I think there are also hidden cycles, like pocket cycles, um, where we can honor everything that is to be honored, but for some reason, those cycles are richer in certain experiences over other experiences. We can trap ourselves in cycles of despair where it's like, good and bad are always happening in the world, but for some reason, we're experiencing a whole lot of bad. And it's like, well, why can't the opposite be true? We don't know. And finally, I say, we wouldn't choose the earth plane if we didn't have a use for suffering. I see this bone collector smiling at me. I'm like, why? Okay. So final card from who was that? No, Dry Desert. Nah, it ain't come out. Enchanted Map Oracle cards. I need you. Ooh. We got a 51-6 and a 42-6. A 51-6 is kind of intense. A 51-6 feels like a tower, but not necessarily. A 51-6, it feels like a lot of things happening all at once. Very chaotic, but all of a sudden everything is calm. Because 6 is like harmony or whatever, right? 5 is the chaos. 6 is the harmony. 1 is just like this sudden, very abrupt, I know what I'm gonna do. Like I see the next destination. I know what lies next on my path type of energy. And it's moonlight. Honestly, this feels like the like deep internal truths being revealed. The revelation of like deep internal truths. Deep ones. So it may be low dark, but at the bottom of the deck, excuse me, the bottom of the deck is wide open. It's a 42-6. So it's like after we face this moonlight, this is what like we're left wide open, right? It's like nothing more to fear. But not only is there nothing more to fear, there's something about the shadow. It kind of came out last time or the time before that, where it's like there's good that darkness can do. I don't know about shadow, because everything is light and dark. Light, dark, known, unknown, conscious, unconscious, subconscious, whatever, conscious. It's like the dark gives us life. Right? Seeds pop up out of the ground, birdies pop out of eggshells, people pop out of people. There is something here, though. It feels like in the moonlight, this fairy person, is lamenting the fact that she can't fly. It's like it feels like her wings don't work for some reason. But in wide open, it feels like she realizes she doesn't need him because she soars on the wings of the world. It's like the world are her wings. The world is her wings. And so there's an energy here that it feels like it swims through, I want to say like it swims through the world, but the world and like that universal flow of energy. How would you explain that? Because it's like there's a momentum, there's a direction to everything. And without the weight of this, the individual is free to be in that flow. And it feels like the two in this 42-6, it's like a rudder on a boat. I don't know anything about boats, but it's like a rudder on the boat where it's like you shift the rudder and it'll like change your whatever as you're sailing, right? It feels like the two is the rudder and the four is the ocean and the wind and the world outside of the boat. Good night, Eve. Thank you for being here. I'm about to be going to bed here pretty soon myself. I'm like exhausted. But it feels like it's a flow that evades us when we fight the world. I mean, it makes sense, right? Like, how can you be in flow with the world if you're fighting it? How can you be in flow with anything if you are against it? It's counter fluid. I don't know. I don't know. Matthew, hello. How are you? I would personally be of a mind, though, that like we should already know. I don't want to say we should already know. I feel like the world has given us plenty of opportunity to know what our truth is. And we shouldn't have to go to Scorpio to find out what that is. But knowing how things tend to play out most of the time, I'm glad to hear it. Knowing how things tend to play out most of the time, I wouldn't be surprised if that's the case. And maybe that's why, what was it? The Journey card and the Six of Air. Maybe that's why the Six of Air and Journey was upright on thought. But when it came time to make the actual choice, it was in reverse. Because the natural progression is like South Node Sagittarius, South Node Scorpio. But it's like we should be in Gemini Taurus. Should be. We have the opportunity to be in Gemini Taurus and to like just not experience the South Node at all. And it's like, the node sort of prepares you for the next one. So we could utilize South Node Sagittarius to put ourselves more in North Node Taurus to the point where we're not even experiencing South Node Scorpio to the depths that we could be experiencing it. And it feels like it feels like Pluto was masterminding some stuff when we had that Pluto Saturn conjunction in Capricorn, Pluto Jupiter conjunction in Capricorn. Before Saturn and Jupiter conjuncted in Aquarius, they both met Pluto. And on the second Saturn Pluto conjunction, I think it was, Pallas retrograded because Saturn retrograded back to conjunct Pluto again. And Pallas retrograded to be there for the conjunction with Saturn the second time. And all of this is happening like at the root, almost subterranean. It is subterranean. It's Pluto in Capricorn. So it's below the foundation, below the surface. And then we have Uranus in Taurus. So it's a big opportunity to, or it was, to actually shortcut a lot of stuff. But it probably also didn't come very easily. But that's life. You know, if you don't face a problem, it's still there tomorrow. So it's not necessarily anything new. So I don't know. You know what? I'm gonna grab these real quick. I keep eyeing that mystical manga. And I'm just like, no, not tonight. No, not today. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I guess I don't know enough about like astrology and eclipses and stuff, but I guess in my own, how I try to live my life, it's like if anything is highlighting areas, I don't know. It's just like, oh, who was that? It's highlighting again. It's like stuff that we should already know. Because like the South Node has been in Sagittarius for since May of 2020. So it's been over a year, almost a year and a half now. And it's like anything that the eclipse would be highlighting or bringing up, it's like more or less stuff that we should already know. And it's like, you know, we can take a whole another 6 month cycle to clean it up. We can let the South Node shift into Scorpio to the point where we're getting absolutely rocked and we're feeling it to our core, or we can just handle it now. A stitch in time saves nine or more. And so I'm just like, you know, I'm not going to wait for this thing to like completely tear itself apart. I'm going to stitch this up now. And then if it tears again later, you know, fix it up later. But just like watching people talk about the transit of like Mars and Pisces, and then like after the North Node, after the nodal like axis already shifted into Gemini Sagittarius, it was so many like people talking about North Node Cancer stuff. And it's like, you know, now is the time to like, you know, it's about love and it's about connection and finding your whatever. And I'm like, well, didn't we already do that in North Node Cancer? South Node is going to go into Scorpio and people are going to be talking about South Node Sagittarius stuff. It's a time to question all your beliefs and it's a time to actually, you know, but it's like, I guess after the node moves on, then it's like you kind of sort of have, it's like it should have already been done. So it's like, you know, if you didn't learn kindergarten math in kindergarten, when you get to first grade, they're not really going to be teaching it anymore. You're just kind of sort of expected to know it. Doesn't mean that you're not going to have to go back and get a refresher on it if you don't know it, of course, but I don't know. I just try to maximize so I can be more North Node Taurus than South Node Scorpio because I'm having my side return and I ain't got time to be playing games. I'm turning all these up right. I feel like I guess you're right. There isn't any reason why we can't deal with more than one. I just like I don't. There are things that I've already like. I don't know. I'd rather like learn it the first time and move on. There's so much I experience, and I'm just like, and like I said, I'm coming up on my Saturn return. So anything and everything I can do, it's done. There's nothing that I'm so attached to that I'll allow it to keep me from everything that I desire. And there's nothing that's gonna get me to go back where I was. And it's interesting how that actually became, I don't know. No, I just saw the second card. The second bonus card is the sad squirrel. That looked like a mad squirrel to me. So we got the happy squirrel and the sad squirrel. It's like taking algebra 1 and then geometry and then algebra 2. But I feel like, I guess, South Node energy, I don't want to say it feels remedial, but it's like, I don't know. And we all learn in different ways. I'm sure there are things that I'm still going to have to experience in some way in order to finally, oh, well, yeah. Ooh. Actually, now that I mention it, there's some South Node Scorpio stuff that I don't want to experience, and I haven't necessarily. There's stuff I know I need to take care of. I'm like, let me do that before. Oh, and that would actually line up with the timing of the nodal shift. So let me do that. Maybe that's that real world stuff I need to deal with. Yeah, I mean, my South Node is what Gemini South Node 6 of Wands. Oof. Yeah, I haven't read the Revelation book of maps too much because I just got the deck and I didn't want to like. I was like, I want to wait. I want to wait until I get the cards. I wonder. I don't know. I did notice that it seems like the Vitruvian book of maps is like there are some things like she goes into in that one that are different than the Revelation one, but that also makes sense because the tone of the decks are different. Excuse me. Your Saturn is in the 12th house. My Saturn is in my 11th house with my sun. So I'm like, yep, not. I'm not feeling these. The Lovers in the Star, though, that's cute. The King of Pentacles. I don't know. It's just, I'm like, why make life harder than it needs to be? Yeah, I know, because she was like, I guess it's less patiency than like getting it earlier, but because I did it end of October or big middle of October. I think it was October. And they were like, "Oh, it may come late November, December." I was like, "Late November, December? That's so far away. How am I supposed to wait that long?" And then it was like here before I knew it. And I know on her channel she's releasing some videos too to go along with it. I wanted to watch the um tarot and the I Ching video. I started it. I didn't finish it. I didn't finish a lot of them. But yeah, I don't know. I guess for me in general, it's just like I feel like a lot of times as people, we kind of sort of wait until things get really bad until, or maybe I'm just speaking from personal experience. I would wait until things get really, really, really bad to try to do something. And then it's like all the remedies, it's like stuff that I already knew I should have did in the first place. But when I'm more on top of it, there's more good stuff that I get to experience. There's like less headache and stress and doing stuff at the last minute because I procrastinated. It's like when you do it in its time, then there are other things that I'm free to do. And I feel like it kind of sort of mirrors the same. And it's just that, like, I guess it feels like a game of like never ending catch up. Like we're always behind or something. And I know that we are where we're meant to be and where we're supposed to be. But I also think that choice plays more of a part than we think. And it feels like we could be further or we could be doing more in better positions, like happier, a lot of stuff. But choice is complicated. I don't know. But hopefully, I guess I should cross my fingers, but you can miss me with all that South Node Scorpio. I don't need to be dealing with South Node Scorpio and be going through a Saturn return at the same time that America's going through its Pluto return and the world is whatever the world is. It's like, let me get on my North Node Taurus stuff. Let me do whatever Saturn is like pushing me to do in my life. And I don't know, get the better outcome rather than like having to learn the lesson. But anyway, thank you all for being here. I hope you have a good whatever whenever you see this. I hope you're acting in alignment to make all that you wish to experience your reality. And I hope that the better for you that is for you, you find your way to. And sometimes it just like happens and we're like, what? Whoa, didn't expect that one. Bye.